Hello everyone, my name is Robin Poskoff and welcome to our MI Safety Orientation Review. This review is going to go through our safety manual. The table of contents, we have the following sections. Part 1, Management, Leadership, and Organizational Commitment. Part 2, Hazard Identification and Assessment. Part 3, Hazard Control. Part 4, Ongoing Worksite Inspections. Part 5, Worker Competency and Training. Part 6, Emergency Response. Part 7, Accident and Incident Investigation. Part 8, Program Administration. And Part 9, Policies, Procedures, and Rules. Today we're going to go through and look at our safety manual. What you'll find is that our safety manual is similar to many other companies, and our goal with the safety manual is to ensure compliance with all of our legislation for the jurisdiction in which we're working, as well as any of these sites that we go on to. I would like to read our corporate health and safety policy statement. MI Safety is committed to preventing and reducing the risk of injury or occupational illness to our employees and accidental loss of any of the resources and physical assets. In fulfilling this commitment to protect both workers' property, management will provide and maintain a safe and healthy work environment in accordance with local industry standards and in compliance with the Occupational Health and Safety Act. We will strive to eliminate any foreseeable hazards that may result in personal injury, illness, property damage, and loss of production. We recognize while MI Safety and supervisors are directly responsible for health and safety in the workplace, that health and safety culture is created and shared between all workplace parties. All employees are expected to help us create a positive safety culture and help to minimize accidents within our facilities and on our work sites. Safe work practices and job procedures will be clearly defined in the company's health and safety policy manual for all employees to follow. Accidents can be prevented through good management in combination with active employee involvement. Safety is the direct responsibility of all managers, supervisors, and outside contractors. All management activities will comply with safety requirements as they relate to planning, operation, and maintenance of facilities and equipment. All employees will perform their jobs properly in accordance with established procedures and safe work practices. Thanks for your time today. All right, let's take a look at Section 1. The first document that we have is Section 1.2, Assignment of Responsibility and Accountability for Safety. We have a list here of responsibility of managers, supervisors, as well as workers. Section 1.3, it specifies MI Safety personnel must sign for 1.2 assignment responsibilities for health and safety to acknowledge their awareness and understanding of their responsibilities. This is something that you'll find in the orientation package at the end, together with a short quiz. The next document that I'd like to direct your attention towards is in Section 1.15. This is our safety meeting. We will conduct safety meetings on a regular basis at a minimum of once per month. The next section that we have is a pre-job safety meeting. This is for tasks that we complete on site, and it's the pre-job safety meeting. In Section 2, we have hazard identification and assessment. At MI Safety, we are a safety company. We are committed to a proper hazard assessment process. As always, we will continually look for and identify hazards. We will look for the best way of completing the task, and we will identify and use the best controls possible. Section 2.1 is an organizational chart with job descriptions. The descriptions goes through the responsibilities of myself, the director, Robin Poskoff, the office manager, as well as job foremans, instructors, and technicians. Technicians are anybody that are on site installing anchor points or completing high-angle rescue techniques. The next document is document 2.6, the Worksite Deficiency Report. So this document is for any time we have some kind of a deficiency on our worksite, we're going to complete this document as a way to formally report this to management so that we know that there is issues at the worksite. Form 3.2, Job Safety Analysis. This document is a document on which we complete task level hazard assessments. As well, there is various pre-written job safety analysis is here. Everything from working at an office workstation, classroom instruction, as well as fall protection. Document 3.5, the fall protection plan, is our fall protection plan. And so this is the standing fall protection plan for just general work at height. We also have fall protection plans specific that can be written for various jobs. Section 3, we have hazard control. Inside of here, we have our hazard assessment, pre-job safety, and pre-trip form. The next one that we have is 3.1, the field level risk assessment. This is another example of a form. We have various field level risk assessment forms depending on the type of task that you're completing. Some of the documents work better for standby rescue jobs. Other documents work better for classroom instructions, and other documents work better for doing fall protection anchor point installations. Section 3.1, we have a vehicle inspection and journey management. This document is for longer drives, so we won't be using it on every project. The next section we have is 3.3, job task observation. So this is for competency assessment. Once again, this is just as a tool that we use to determine competency assessment. All right, section 3.5 is our confined space work code of practice. In part 5 of Alberta's Occupational Health and Safety Code, it requires that there's code of practice for confined space work. And as such, we have that. Our confined space code of practice has all the listed requirements: hazard assessment, training, the entry permit system, confined space permits, safety and protection, personal protective equipment, hazardous substances and energy, lockout, tagout, unauthorized entry, traffic hazards, testing the atmosphere, calibrating test equipment, frequency of tests, potential for change of hazards in the space, ventilation and purging, mechanical ventilation, inerting a confined space, emergency response, tending worker, monitor, safety watch, the emergency response planning for the confined space work, confined space entry and exit, and retaining records for the confined space work. Following the code of practice, we have our confined space entry, monitor, and rescue permit. So it's our document for going into confined spaces. When we are operating on a client site, we can use the confined space entry permit provided by the client, as long as it's sufficient for work in Alberta. Section 3.6, workers must use safe work controls developed for work processes. Workers who do not will first be given a written warning. Secondly, they'll be given a written warning again, and then a third strike. They'll finally be dismissed. Section 3.7, appropriate PPE. MI safety is required to provide PPE appropriate to the task that is inspected, and people are trained. So we can review the requirements for that in section 3.7 and section 3.8. Section 3.9 is fall protection planning. We have our fall protection plan document, and as per requirements by Alberta OH&S code, we have all the sections inside of there. Section 3.10, we have a safe work permit. This document is often substituted by the site safe work permit. However, we have our own MI safety safe work permit for tasks we're doing on site. If the site asks us to use a safe work permit, or if there is no document for site. Section 4, ongoing worksite inspection. We have a requirement to be constantly inspecting the worksite for hazards, for deficiencies. One of the most important parts of a health and safety program is to make sure that hazard control measures continue to be effective. A system of inspections, both formally and informally, will be looking for hazards that are part of our everyday work tasks. Who's responsible for reviewing these hazards? So everybody from the foreman to the workers are responsible for reviewing hazards and reporting them back. On document 3.4 of our MI safety program, we have a formal PPE inspection. This is the document where we formally inspect our PPE. The most common PP that we inspect is rope rescue equipment, and that can be found on our drive system where we keep all of our documents. Okay. Next up, we have our preventative maintenance schedule. This is on section 410. This is the month where we review everything from our building safety systems, our fire extinguisher inspections, and so on. Section 5, worker competency and training. Work training is an essential phase of our health and safety program. Workers need to know how to do their job safely and without risk to their health. They must understand that the company considers health and safety as being an extremely important part of our work process. The competency program, we use our job task observation together with on-the-job training to ensure that workers are competent. Part of this training can be assigned e-learning courses as well as a combination of on-the-job courses and required training. For example, rope rescue technicians must have typically 40 and 80-hour rope rescue training. Other training includes confined space training, respiratory protective equipment training. All right. Section 5.3, the employee orientation checklist. So we're going to be seeing this at the end of this orientation as one of the documents that we have to fill out. If you're a supervisor, you will always also be filling out section 5.3, the supervisor orientation checklist. Okay, section 6 is emergency response. So we have an emergency response plan written for our office, as well as we have an emergency response plan written for on-site tasks. The emergency response plan includes communication procedures, emergency phone numbers, a list of responsible emergency response personnel, as well as evacuation procedures. Personnel must understand their actions to be taken under the plan. Employees will be given emergency response training appropriate to their individual responsibility, and emergency response drills need to be conducted on a regular basis. Section 7, incident investigation reporting. In this section is where we outline all the requirements for any incidents that occur, the requirements for investigation, the requirements for reporting. Section 7.1 is our incident report form. Section 7.2 talks about employee responsibilities to report work-related incidents. And this can go beyond just reporting them to MI Safety. This can include reporting them to WCB, OHS, as well as your doctor, depending on the details and severity of the incident. Section 7.3 is our worksite investigation form. Inside of this document this is a document that we use as per our safety program to investigate any kind of incidents that occur. Section 7.5 through 7.11 discusses the requirements for the investigation. You can read that in our safety program. Section 8 is our program administration. This is the part where it discusses the requirements for annual audits of our safety program. On an annual basis, we will maintain and audit our employee training records, our worksite inspection records, incident investigation records, audit maintenance records, health and safety meeting minutes, and health assessment records. And section 8.6 is a document where we keep our health and safety statistics. And beyond this, we have our QHSE, our Quality Health Safety Environment Management System form completion requirements. It discusses in the document all the sections from section 1 to 2 all the way up to 8 and who has to complete the various documents. And at the end of section 8, we have our worker policies and procedures. Inside of this part, we have policies and procedures related to any of our work tasks. For example, barricades and flagging, chemical handling, communications, handling compressed gas cylinders, for example, respiratory protective equipment, using cranes and hoists, and it goes on and on for several pages discussing the requirements. I would like for everybody to take some time and review our safety program, and then as well answer the test quiz questions at the end. Thanks for your time today.